Hey people of YouTube, today we're covering the complete installation of the Hampton Bay 52-inch Southwind 2 ceiling fan. If you found this video, you might be stuck in your own installation and you're looking for some help. We're here to do just that. We're going to cover the complete installation from unboxing to turning it on and everything in between. So if you need some help, stick with us and we'll get you through it. If you like the video, please click like and subscribe at the end, and that way other people will find the video too. And if you just want to fast forward to certain points in the installation, you can use the handy dandy links below, and that'll take you to each individual step, and that way you don't have to watch the whole video, you can just get to work. Alright, so as you can see here, we've already unpacked the fan, but before we get started, just a couple of notes. You want to make sure that the electricity is turned off at the breaker box and at the wall switch before getting started. This is a super easy project, but if you don't feel comfortable working around electricity, please consult with a licensed electrician. Another note is if you're hanging this fan where there was just a light fixture on your ceiling, you need to make sure that the outlet box is clearly marked acceptable for fan support. If not, you're going to need to replace that before beginning. Just a quick overview of the fan. The fan is a dual mount fan, so it can be hung on a standard flat ceiling with the included downrod. It can be hung from a higher angled ceiling with an extension downrod that you purchase separately. It does have reversible blades. It has a 3-speed reversible motor. It has AccuArm blade arms with captive screws. Those screws won't fall out and that makes installation easier. It has a frosted white glass bowl. It has a slide-on mounting bracket, which is also going to make the installation easier. It does include a remote control, and this remote has an easy plug wire harness that simply plugs into the fan to make wiring and installation easy. So like I said, easy project. So what we're going to do now is we've already opened up the manual to the parts page. We're just going to go through the individual parts to make sure we have everything before beginning, and that way we don't get stuck along the way. So first off, the slide-on mounting bracket. This comes pre-installed inside the canopy, and we'll show you in the first step how to remove that to get started. Like we said, you're going to have 5 reversible blades. You'll just pick the finish that's right for you. The 5 AccuArm blade arms with captive screws. The glass bowl. This is the light kit. The light kit has the finial and the bowl cap attached. Now this fan can be installed without the light kit, and we'll show you in this video how to do that as well. You have the fan motor assembly, the ball and downrod. The fan includes 2 LED bulbs, standard base, standard shape. If you're installing this with an extension downrod, you'll have this bit of extension wire. It's compatible with 3/4 inch diameter downrods up to 48 inches. You're going to have a hardware pack with plastic wire nuts, the hanger locking pin, and the blade attachment screws. As discussed, you'll have the remote control, the receiver, the battery, and the wire nuts are included with the remote control as well. So we have all the parts, just some tools we're going to need for this project. You need a Phillips head screwdriver. You may need a pair of wire cutters and strippers. We like to have a line voltage tester on hand just to make sure the wires aren't live before beginning. If installing without the light kit, you'll need a wrench or a pair of pliers. You need some electrical tape, and of course a ladder. So we have everything here, we're ready to go. Let's get this done. The mounting bracket comes pre-assembled inside the canopy. There are 2 standard screws, one on either side, and 2 J-slotted screws, one on either side. To remove the mounting bracket, first loosen and remove and save the 2 standard screws. And then loosen, but do not remove, the 2 screws in the J-slots. Once those screws are loosened, simply twist the mounting bracket and pull up to remove it from the canopy. This fan features a slide-on mounting bracket for easy installation. There are 2 slots in the mounting bracket that will align with the 2 screws in the outlet box. Just align the slots of the mounting bracket with those screws and slide to hold in place. This is just a demonstration of how it's done. To install the mounting bracket, use a screwdriver to loosen but not remove the 2 screws in the outlet box. With the flat side of the mounting bracket facing towards the ceiling, feed the house wires through the mounting bracket and align the slots of the mounting bracket with the screws in the outlet box, and then simply slide into place. And use the screwdriver to completely tighten both of the outlet box screws to secure the mounting bracket to the ceiling. Make sure that both outlet box screws are completely tightened before proceeding with the installation. Before attaching the downrod, you'll need to use a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen but not remove the two set screws located on the motor collar. Next, gently pull the green ground wire from inside the ball and downrod assembly. Then, place the canopy on the downrod so that the downrod exits the smallest hole of the canopy. Then gently feed the wires through the bottom of the downrod so that they exit through the ball portion. Gently pull the wires through until the downrod meets the motor collar at the top of the motor. Align the holes of the downrod with the holes in the motor collar and insert the downrod into the motor collar. Then using the hanger pin, insert the hanger pin through the hole in the motor collar so it exits the opposite side. Insert the locking pin in the end of the hanger pin to secure it. The pin will snap in place when properly inserted. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to completely tighten both set screws on the motor collar. Once the set screws are tight, you can allow the canopy to rest on the motor. Before hanging the fan, it's important to note the slot in the ball that will engage the tab in the mounting bracket. When hanging, you'll insert the ball into the mounting bracket and then rotate the fan assembly until you feel the slot engage the tab. This is just a close-up demonstration. Before hanging the fan, move the house supply lines out of the way to make room for the ball to insert into the mounting bracket. Lift the fan assembly up to the ceiling, noting the location of the slot and the tab in the mounting bracket. Insert the ball into the mounting bracket. Rotate the fan assembly until you feel the slot engage the tab in the mounting bracket. The fan will drop slightly when properly seated. Prepare the remote control by sliding the battery compartment cover off of the back of the remote control. If you have another remote control fan in the house, it's a good idea to change the dip switch settings in the remote and the receiver. You'll need to do this prior to wiring. You'll note the dip switches in the remote control. Use a small screwdriver or a pen to set the dip switches in the remote transmitter. There's also a light control switch in the battery compartment of the remote. This switch is labeled O and D. To disable the dimming function of the light kit, set the switch to O. To enable the dimming function, make sure the switch is set to D. If you change the dip switch settings in the handheld remote, you'll need to match those settings in the remote receiver. To do so, pull up the rubber cover to expose the dip switches, and then using a small tool, set the dip switches to match the handheld remote. You can set the dip switches to any combination as long as both the remote and the receiver have the same dip switch settings. Once the dip switches are set, replace the rubber plug on the receiver. Install the included battery according to the diagram inside the battery compartment. Replace the battery cover by sliding it onto the remote. When installing the receiver, make sure the flat side of the receiver is facing towards the ceiling. You'll notice that one side of the receiver has the quick connect plug that will connect to the fan wiring. The other side of the receiver has two wires to connect to the house wiring. Insert the antenna end of the receiver into the mounting bracket so that it rests on top of the ball and downrod assembly. Begin wiring the fan by taking the plug from the fan wires and inserting that into the plug from the receiver wires. Next, take the green wire from the fan and the green wire from the mounting bracket and twist those two wires together. Once those wires are twisted together, connect those wires with the bare copper house line. This is the ground connection. Once those wires are connected, secure the connection using an included plastic wire nut and a piece of electrical tape. Next, take the white wire from the receiver labeled ACNN and connect that with the white house supply line. This is the neutral connection. Twist those two wires together and secure the connection using an included plastic wire nut and a piece of electrical tape. Finish the wiring by taking the red wire from the receiver labeled ACNL and connect that with the black house supply line. This is the power connection. Secure the connection using an included plastic wire nut and a piece of electrical tape. Once all the wiring connections have been made, gently tuck the wires around the mounting bracket to make room for the canopy to attach. To attach the canopy, align the J-slots of the canopy with the 2 screws that were loosened in the mounting bracket, and then slide the canopy up and press up and twist to engage the screws in the J-slots. Once the canopy is set, use the screws that were removed in the first step and insert the screw into the standard screw hole of the canopy and tighten using a Phillips head screwdriver. Repeat this for the other standard screw. Once those screws are tightened, completely tighten the 2 screws in the J-slots. Make sure all 4 screws are completely tightened. To assemble the blades, you'll need the bag of blade attachment screws from the hardware pack. The blade arms have 3 posts that will align with the 3 holes at the end of the blades. The blades are reversible, so choose the finish that you want and make sure that the opposite side is facing up. Then align the screw holes of the blade with the posts on the blade arm. Press the blade arm and the blades together, and then using a blade attachment screw, start 1 screw in each hole. Once all 3 screws are started, use a Phillips head screwdriver to completely tighten all 3 screws. Repeat this process for the 4 remaining blades. Before installing the blade arms, you'll need to remove the 5 rubber motor stops in the base of the motor. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen and remove these rubber motor stops. You can discard them once removed. They are just to prevent the motor from moving during shipment. When installing the blade arm, note the alignment post on the blade arm. This will align with the long slot at the base of the motor. Simply insert that post into the long slot, and the screws will automatically align with the screw holes in the base of the motor. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to completely tighten both screws. Repeat this process for the 4 remaining blade arms. Make sure all of the blade arm screws are completely tightened before proceeding. The light kit attaches to the fan using 3 screws that are pre-installed on the light kit. Those 3 screws will align with the 3 slots in the switch cup of the fan. To begin, loosen but do not remove the 3 screws on the light kit. Connect the wires from the light kit to the wires from the fan by snapping the easy plug connectors together. The blue wire from the fan to the black wire from the light kit, and the white wire from the fan to the white wire from the light kit. Once the wires are connected, gently push the wires into the switch cup. Align the notch cutout on the light kit with the reverse switch on the switch cup of the fan, and then align the loosened screws with the slots on the base of the switch cup. Push up and twist to engage the screws. Then use a Phillips head screwdriver to completely tighten the 3 screws. Make sure all 3 screws are completely tightened before proceeding. Before installing the glass bowl, you'll need to remove the pre-installed finial, bowl cap, hex nut, and rubber washer from the threaded post of the light kit. Simply unscrew the finial to remove the finial and the bowl cap, and then remove and save the hex nut and rubber washer from the threaded post of the light kit. Next, install the 2 included LED bulbs by screwing them into the sockets. Align the center hole of the glass bowl with the threaded post of the light kit. Press up so that the threaded post comes through the hole of the glass bowl. Hold it in place, and then place the rubber washer and the hex nut onto the threaded post. Only finger tighten the hex nut. Do not over tighten it. Do not use any tools when tightening the hex nut. Over tightening may cause the bowl to crack. Complete the installation by placing the bowl cap onto the threaded post and securing it with the finial. Screw the finial back onto the threaded post. Again, only finger tighten the finial. Do not over tighten. The fan has a 3-speed reversible motor. The reverse switch is located right above the light kit on the switch cup of the fan. Switch down creates a downward airflow for use in the hotter months. Switch up creates an upward airflow to pull warm air from the ceiling for use during the cooler months. Make sure the fan is off before attempting to reverse the fan's directions. This fan features a convenient handheld remote control. To turn the fan and light off at the same time, press the power button. The fan speed button will cycle through the fan's 3 speeds. Press once for high speed, twice for medium speed, 3 times for low speed, and another time to turn it off. Press the remote light button to turn the light on. Press it again to turn it off. Press and hold to cycle through the dimming. Release the button once the desired brightness is achieved. Press and hold the power button for 5 seconds to activate the walk-away light delay. The light will blink and then stay lit for approximately 30 seconds to allow you to leave the room while it's still lit. The switch inside the battery compartment of the remote control labeled O and D controls the light function of the fan. Set the switch to O to disable the dimming function, or set the switch to D to enable the dimming function. To install the fan without the light kit, you'll need to remove the switch cap from the light kit. Use a wrench or a pair of pliers to remove the hex nut located on the inside of the center of the switch cap. Gently pull the wires through one by one through the hex nut to remove the hex nut, and then unscrew the switch cap from the threaded post of the light kit. Once the switch cap is unscrewed, gently pull the wires one by one through the center hole of the switch cap to remove it. Next, locate the switch cap plug in the hardware pack. Press the switch cap plug into the center hole until it snaps into place. Next, you'll need to loosen but not remove the 3 pre-installed screws on the switch cap. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen but not remove these 3 screws. When attaching the switch cap, note the notch cut out of the switch cap. That will align with the reverse switch in the switch cup at the base of the fan. The 3 screws will align with the 3 slots on the switch cup. Simply press up and twist to engage the screws in the slots, and then use a Phillips head screwdriver to completely tighten all 3 screws. Make sure all 3 screws are completely tightened. Congratulations! Your ceiling fan installation is now complete. Time to sit back, relax with a nice tall beverage, and enjoy your new ceiling fan. As always, thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please click like and subscribe down below, and that'll help other people find it as well. And as we always say around here, keep it breezy.